Today we're looking at a Primal Strike Druid. This is a classic build. I've had this since I started playing Grim Dawn, and I just recently updated it with all the new Fangs of Asterkarn stuff. We hit SR 36 with this, so I'm pretty happy with that. The bosses are a little bit more difficult, but it really clears the first initial rooms extremely fast because of all the AoE clear with the lightning, but the single target takes a little bit longer. We're going to start with the gear today and the stats. So we've got 3163 for the offensive ability. We've got about 3000 for the defensive ability. We're running 3050 armor with 98% armor absorption. And then for our resist, we're going to be overcapped on everything. The lowest one is going to be here at poison for about 10%. Depending on what you run, you might just pop a potion for it, but it doesn't really seem to be too big of an issue because we have so much HP regen over time that it kind of cancels it out. Now we can look at the gear. So for this set, we're going to be using the Ulto Stormseeker set. There's a couple other ways to build the Primal Strike Druid, but I prefer this one. For the axe, we can see that this gives us a 1.2 meter target area and additional 80% bonus to Primal Strike. If we look at the entire set bonus, it gives us 120 to Lightning and Electrocute, some defensive and offensive ability, +2 to all Shaman. Then it gives us a flat 33 to 66 lightning damage, and then converts some of the physical to lightning. It also directly modifies Savagery and Primal Strike, but we're a Primal Strike build, so that gives us a minus 0.5 recharge time and some lightning and electrocute damage over time. It also gives us Ulto's Wrath, which is a 50% on critical hit to deal lightning in the area and then electrocute over time. Looking at the ring here, we have the Ring of Anubar. This is going to give us lightning and electric damage. It's going to give us +2 to Primal Strike. And then the granted skill, Eye of Anubar, is going to give us some lightning damage. For the headpiece, we have the Ulto's Hood. It's going to give us +30% crit damage to Primal Strike. For the amulet, we're going to be using the gem, and it's going to give us +2 to Primal Strike and +2 to Storm Surge. For the other one, we're going to be using the Thunderstruck Weaver Band of the Hurricane. This is going to give us good lightning damage, good offensive and defensive ability, a 9% increase to our armor, and a good resist profile across the board, plus a 30% stun duration. It's also going to give us +3 to the Sphere of Protection and +2 to Wind Devils. Very important piece for this set just because it gives us so much in one. For the shoulders, we're going to be using the set shoulders. It's going to give us a +2 to Primal Strike. For the gloves, we have the Fatebreaker's Change for the electrocute and lightning damage. It gives us good attack speed and also +3 to the exchange and +2 to Primal Strike. It also gives us a flat 30% weapon damage bonus to Primal Strike. For the boots, we have the Storm Titan Treads. This is going to give us lightning and electrocute, a large chunk of health, and then a flat 4% health modifier. It's going to give us a little bit of movement speed, but has a decent resist profile with an additional 30% stun duration, and then gives us +2 to Primal Strike. It also gives us the granted skill Storm Titan, 25% chance on hit to deal lightning and electrocute, as well as reduce the target damage by 10%. For the metal, we're going to be using the Mark of the Farseer, and this is going to give us lightning and electrocute with offensive ability, a decent resist profile, and a +3 to Storm Surge. It also modifies Primal Strike to give us 11,000 electrocute over 3 seconds. For the belt here, we're going to be using the Thunderstruck Chains of Brandis of the Drangul. This has a bit of lightning on it, but most importantly, it has the offensive and defensive ability with an increased armor and a good resist profile. It gives us +1 to all Shaman skills and reduces our stun duration by 28%. And then for the relic here, we have Eye of the Storm. Now, this is only a level 60 relic, and there is an argument to be made about using something like this, which gives us about the same amount of electrocute and lightning damage. However, we lose out on the spirit and the attack speed. We lose out on the skills to the Shaman. And the Stormcaller aura is kind of nice just for doing extra damage there. The one benefit that the combustion does have is that it gives them a minus 10% elemental resist on a 15% chance to hit. But I think we're losing out too much to use this, and there's not really another relic that will be as focused towards lightning as the Eye of the Storm will. For the pants, we got the Pharaoh Mane leg plates. These are decent all around, good resist profile, some extra damage, and they give us a +2 to Primal Strike. Then they also give us Feral Lash, which is just going to deal some extra lightning damage and then convert some of that attack damage to health. And the last piece we have here is going to be the chest piece for the set. This is going to give us +2 to Storm Touch and +2 to Torrent. Now let's take a look at the skills for the Arcanist and the Shaman. We're going to be running a 1+3 in the Exchange, and then we have a full 12 in the Overload. We have 1 in the Balance. We have 1 in the Mirror, and we have 12 +3 in the Sphere of Protection. We have 5 in Conversion. We have a full 12 in Inner Focus, a full 10 in Arcane Will, and then a 3 in Nullification. For the Shaman, this is where most of our points are going to be. We've got a 5+7 here in Brute Force, a 1+4 in the Wendigo Totem. Primal Strike is our big one, 8+16 in that, modified by the 1 for Thunderous Strike. Then we have a 12+10 in Torrent, and a 8+13 in Storm Surge. We also have a 1+4 in the Storm Totem, and then we have a 12+8 in the Stormcaller's Pact. Wind Devils is another important one. We have a 16+6 in this, and then it's going to be a 12+5 for Raging Tempest, and a 2+4 in Maelstrom. For our more defensive skills down here, we have an 8+4 in the Pact, we have an 8+4 in the Heart, and we have a 9+4 in the Oak Skin. Now moving on to the devotions here, we're going to be using the 5% health in the Crossroads, then we're going to be using the Tortoise modified to the Exchange. We're using Tsunami modifying Wind Devils. Up here we have the Tempest modifying our Wendigo Totem. Then we have the Ghoul modifying our Sphere of Protection. We are running Spider and the Quill as well. We have the Giant's Blood Behemoth over here, which is going to be modifying Stormcaller's Pact. Then we have the Harvestman's Scythe and the Crown, which is going to modify our Storm Totem. And then at the very top here, this is probably one of the most important pieces. We have the Widow, which is going to modify our Primal Strike with Arcane Bomb, and this is going to be a major source of the lightning resist reduction. Now we're on to the rotational skills part of the video. So you're going to have your Wind Devils out. You are going to cast your 1 and 2, which is going to be your 2 totems. You can have 2 of the Storm totems up, but only 1 of the Wendigo totems. When you cast those, you're going to jump in with Stormclap, and you're going to start M1ing them. And that's basically the build. Every once in a while, you'll jump and Stormclap again. Make sure you have both of your totems up on rotation. And occasionally, you might need to use the Mirror or Nullification if you get nullified yourself or you get sundered. And that's really about it. It's a super simple build, which is part of the reason why it's so nice. However, it can push a lot of difficult content. So now we're going to jump into the Shattered Realms, and we'll do SR36 and see how it does. Alright, we survived the Shattered Realms there. The rooms are extremely quick, like I had mentioned, and the bosses usually take a little bit longer just because of the single target damage. But overall, this is a really solid build. I think there might be a little bit more room to squeeze a little something else out of there. I don't know if we're going to get to SR 38 with this. Maybe we can do 37, but this will be something I'll look at in the future. If I have to rate this build, I would say this is probably a solid 9 out of 10 for me. I do really enjoy it. It's both simple but very flashy at the same time, and it really pushes some of the more fun content to do in the game. I may mess around with this a little bit more and try to push 37 or 38 with it, and if I do any changes like that, I will update that in the description below. I can also make a leveling guide for this. There seems to be some interest in that. I've had a couple requests, so I've made a few of those for different builds over time. So I can always make one of those for this as well. But if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.